Yeah, those relationships like that with people you meet, I mean, you never know, honestly, the biggest someone you could meet that you have even have no idea who it is. It's like, uh, you never know. It's the connections that you make now. You just gotta, um, what's the word? Hit them up all the time. Not all the time, but you never know where certain people with certain talents or certain knowledge or other connections could take you. That's the biggest thing. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Continuing, yeah. So that's awesome. I'm glad you met Chris. Any local people that you're listening to that you really like?
Oh yeah, for sure. Corey Liner, she is one of my favorites right now. She is so cool. I think she has a song coming out next week too.
Yeah.
But Corey Liner is a very talented young lady, and I love her. She it's kind of like an ambient pop, kind of like, I don't know, it very good. Also Mars, Joey Phantom,
So
Braxton, always got love for Braxton. Sasha Renee. We're so blessed, I think, to have such an amazing um, music scene here, filled with so many creative people. I mean, sometimes like I look at our city and I'm like, this is, we have the talent, we have the drive, we
mm,
have the art, we have the artists,
yep.
we really do have a very unique situation where we live in a place that a lot of people make very good music.
Yeah. I agree. The talent here is um super good, first of all, and there's a lot of I guess you could say underground artists, a lot of up and coming artists. It's definitely slept on. The 502 come up is real for sure. And I agree. Yeah, I listen to Joey Phantom a little bit. I've been listening to Braxton. Um, but yeah, totally. I think it's very important to support the local talent for sure. I mean, you know, so that's cool.
Yeah. How would I describe my music to people?
Hmm.
I would I would definitely describe my music as everyone's only heard one song. So when I say this, they're kind of like, yeah. But I would say that my music is strong vocals, ambient, definitely pop. Some people categorize me in like the trap pop scene, which is really cool, which is really cool. I would say like alternative pop.
Alternative pop. Cool. Yeah. So that's kind of
Yeah.
leading into what I was going to ask you next. Your latest single, Heartbreaker, which I've got. I was going to say is definitely I could hear like pop on that definitely, and hear like the alternative pop
Yeah.
sound, which exactly what you were saying. You said most people kind of say that they're like, oh yeah, I could see that. Um, speak on that single, how did it come about, and then also you performed this on WHAS 11, correct? Live.
I did. Yes,
Okay.
I sure did. Yes.
And
Yes. I'll
this,
tell you about that in a minute. Okay.
yeah, for sure.
So, basically, about a year and a half ago, Robert Calloway, Saint Engineering, introduced
Mm,
me to this producer in New York City, and his name is X on the Track. And I for like the longest time, like I wanted to work with him, and I was really at the like infant stages. I hadn't even like decided on my artist name, I hadn't even like gone that route. So with good reason, nothing really came about for a long time with that.
yeah.
But but X always said that he kind of kept an eye on me, and he noticed that I was, going to LA, and I was going, to New York City, and I was going to Nashville, and I was just trying to like bounce between the hub cities. And this was prior to me even having management or anything like that. Um,
Yeah.
so I was just kind of like the one woman show out on, the cusp, and trying to find anybody who would listen to my records. Um, so I remember the day X DM'd me and he was like, okay, we're going to work together and we're going to make this happen. You're going to fly to New York and you're going to record a single. And so for a few months, he sent me some tracks and I picked Heartbreaker because it just, at that point in my life, like when I heard that beat, I was just like, I can get on here and mess this up. Like I can like do some, I can do some harm on this beat. Like I heard it and I was like, yeah, like this is the one. So I was writing to it and I only had like the hook because I know I wanted it to be about heartbreak, you know, and I would just sing it in the car all the time. And then I got it finally finished out. I think I was like so nervous. Like I think Heartbreaker, writing it with just like the pressure. I was definitely feeling a little bit of the heat just because it was such a big crew who was working on it. You have Danny Sardi, who has mixed stuff for SZA, for Jeremiah, like for like so many people, you know, in the industry. And then you have Dan Malice, who's done, he has, you know, 30 gold records on his wall. And X, oh my God, X is so talented. So I think that was like one of the real times I was like really feeling the heat. But I got it done. And we fly to New York City. And I recorded it and I left the studio that night and I just kind of like, my sibling was there and I just kind of like looked over to them and I was like, man, like, I really see this record going far. Like I really believe in this record and I feel like I did the absolute best that I could have done with it.
Oh, that's good.
And and then the rest is kind of history. The rest I met Philip Frazier. And he's my manager, I Salute Promotions on Instagram, and he definitely like steered me in the right direction. I was a very sporadic artist before, and I think he's kind of like put me on the path now with his guidance. And I'm very, very happy and blessed to have such wonderful mentors. So much to our little group and like my friends and all the fans that are like listening to this song and who have kept streaming. So heck yeah, we did. Not to be cocky. I don't want to be cocky, but
that's amazing.
It was a big achievement.
It is a big achievement, and you should celebrate those accordingly, especially. I mean, those are, you know, you said you worked hard, you were feeling the heat, but you got it done. And you made a good song. How did the whole performance on WHAS 11, how did that come about?
Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry.
That's all right.
If I'm like struggling to understand you, it's because there's just a bit of a lag on your audio.
Okay.
So WHS 11 came about. My manager knows one of the producers there at Great Day Live. And I've known about Great Day Live for like a long time. Like I used to watch it when I was like in high school. And there would always be just local people on there and everything. And sometimes there'd be musicians and it was just something like, you know, after it's typically at like 7 or 8 in the morning, you know? And for a while I was homeschooled. So I was like on the TV all the time watching the morning news and it would typically come on right after. But yeah, and it was really, really cool just to see with Angie and the whole crew. It was really, really fun. When we got there, okay, so we like get there to the TV station and we're like going in and everything. And they just had like a paper that says like today's artist, Kyren, performing Heartbreaker. And
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my gosh, it's real. I'm going to be on TV. Somebody pinch me.
Yeah.
But honestly, like the actual performance went by so quick. Like,
I bet.
I don't know, like a lot of people who have done live TV, I'm sure can like relate to this. It goes by in a blink of an eye. Like you're just all this waiting and all this preparation. And then when you finally get up there, cake.
Yep. You know, as an artist and, you know, you've got fans and supporters, what's one message that you would give to them, would want to give to them?
Okay. To like fans.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say just be yourself and be yourself unapologetically. And just have the most fun with life because it is short and you never know how long you have. So live the life that you want to live and, you know, achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Do what makes you happy. I think that's the takeaway.
Cool. And do you feel like you live by that, doing what makes you happy?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sweet.
Although sometimes music is a job, as you know,
Yep.
it is something that I see myself doing until the day I die. And what I do right now is the sheer purpose is because I love it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it, you know? And if I ever lose love for it, you know, I don't see that ever happening. I never ever see myself, you know, I never see myself not doing music in some type or form. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe when I'm like 60 and like can't tour, then I'm like might become a writer or a manager or something. But I got a lot in me, and I'm just at the start of this. So from what I've seen, it's the best thing in the world.
Sweet. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, now, especially, so talking about right before the shutdown, you did a show, and then with quarantine and shutdown, and not just right now, but overall, really in general, how do you think the internet has impacted the music business? And then also, you know, as big what I would say relating it to quarantine, we can't have shows anymore. So how do you think that's impacted? How do you think the internet has impacted all this?
I think the internet, great question. It's kept it alive because, you know, the internet is a direct link with artists to their fans and to their following. And without that, who knows? You know, I mean,
Right.
Without people to listen to, we're just all making music, you know? So it's a very, very good thing that we are at a point in our history to where we have this technology available, readily available to us, and pretty easy to access. Not extremely easy if you're a newer artist, but it is a very, very good thing that we do have the internet and that we have Zoom, and, you know, that we can talk on a podcast like this.
Right.
And I am so, so thankful that I am alive and making music at a time where it's available to do so.
Definitely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the best advice that you've been given?
The best advice that I've been given was to get creative. And I think there's a lot of truth in that.
Sure.
Because, you know, if we can't go out and perform for people, then how can we still do that? You know, how can we do that without putting anybody's lives at risk and not putting anybody in danger? And it was live stream. So the absolute best advice was get creative, because you're going to need to.
Yeah, exactly. Like these live streams
Yeah.
and everything's on the internet. That is, and even in general, not just because of the shutdown and stuff, but definitely I would say just being creative in general. finding out different
Yeah.
ways, finding different ways to, because you said earlier, you even said that music is sometimes a job, and it's kind of like, oh my God, I don't want to do this right now. But, if you have to, you got to figure out ways that you can quickly get inspired to do, whatever it is you have to do, whether it's writing or performing or mixing and mastering, things like that, It's
Yeah.
definitely some great
Yeah.
advice. If you could change anything about the music industry, what would you change?
I would change, um, I would change the amount. I think that we need more diversity in the music industry. And if there was a way in a perfect magical world, that we could kind of take away a bias about a person on how they look, um, and instead just listen to the music and let the music speak for the artist. I would really, really, really love that, because I think that's important.
For sure. Yeah, there is definitely a huge bias in the industry, and that's a really good point, because at the end of the day, music is music, and but also, with the whole music business as a business, it
Yeah.
really takes away a lot of, when it comes down to it. Sorry, I'm looking at some of these comments in the chat. When it comes down to it, you're as an artist, and maybe you're with, like, and labels are looking at you. They're looking at you as not even, you're an artist, but you're also there to make them money. So
Of course. Yeah,
and
of course. Of
when you
course.
think
And
about
that
it,
is completely understandable at the
right?
end of the day. Um, I think I am very, very, I'm very pro artist, and I'm very,
Yeah,
like, I want people to be as experimental as they want to be, because when you break boundaries, um, that is when you create something new and something very exciting. So I completely, I get it. I mean, it's
yeah.
the business,
Oh, for sure. It
and, but yeah, but yeah,
and but like that mentality from the labels, it kind of does, like, strip down the, like, it makes it seem like it's all a business, and there's no, like, they take away the creativity almost, to an extent. But I get what you're saying. Definitely, there should be a
yeah,
way that if there was one thing to change, for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Sweet,
for
that's
sure.
awesome. Okay,
Thanks.
let's see. What are we now? Okay, so big question here. One of the big goals of the podcast. What are your goals as an artist in Louisville?
I want to, um, I want to implement a new scene in Louisville. I want to kind of start the, like, not to say I've started, sorry, backtrack. I want to add to the new scene, that is definitely, starting to rise, like the alternative pop scene. Um,
Yes.
and I also want to, I have a million goals. I mean, I want to win so many Grammys that I have to buy a shelf for them. I want to do
Fire.
a
Fire.
million different things. Um, I want to play Madison Square Garden and the Yum
Ooh.
Center, and all those kind of things. And those are long-term goals for sure.
Yes, sir.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
So you will.
Also, just be a good voice for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
Really, like, a very relatable artist that people can look to my music, and that they feel like it might get them through something, or
Totally.
just something that
Facts.
people feel deeper than just a song on the radio.
Yeah. Absolutely. For sure. That's those are awesome goals, Kyren. Seriously, stick to those, especially about people hearing your music, and they might it might help them get through something. Those are definitely important goals as an artist, and being a voice. I like that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so kind of going along with these, so the regional perspectives here. Where do you see Louisville's creative scene, or, artistic and creative scene, in 5 years? What do you think is going to happen? What's going on? You think?
Mm,
Just kind of in general.
yeah, I think that I think it's only up from here, and I think that if we keep supporting each other,
Mm-hmm.
John Woo is a very,
Yep.
very
Yep.
a very active member of the music scene, and I think he pre-corona he would always hold these producer corners, and it would be like the
Yep.
scene would be there.
Yep.
150 people who are musicians, rappers, producers, singers, songwriters, yada yada yada. I think he said it well. He said that one producer's corner, he said, we have to support each other or we're never going to get past where we are now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that that's, super important. And I think he's completely right. I think that in the next 5 years, as long as we keep on this incline of all of us getting better and really taking the time to make good music and to really put our blood, sweat, and tears into this, then I think we have the potential to be a hub city. Absolutely.
I never really heard anybody say we have the potential to be a hub city. That's awesome. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Well, great. I'm glad you feel that way because I agree. I've talked about John Woo on this podcast and referenced that what he said about supporting each other, and we have to stop nickel and diming each other, especially
That
I
is
think
the true thing.
yeah,
That is yes.
here in Louisville.
A lot of people aren't, it's hard, I mean, when you're a starting out artist, I mean, I was working 2 jobs to afford studio time. Like, I feel it, I definitely feel it. And yeah, Woo is the man. He is the man.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Hopefully I'm gonna get him on here someday. He's he's got, I hope, and I'd love to see those producer. I mean, that's a lot of people in one place, but hopefully they can start those up again sometime soon. I don't know. Right now it's kind of looking like things are probably going to start shutting down again, honestly, but maybe not. We'll see. I can't make that call. But, well, that's awesome, Kyren. I'm glad you're feeling that way. You have a really good positive vibe and energy about you. So